Okay, today we're going to talk about the channel view on the master section and also the fader unit. So we'll go ahead and click channel and it will open up the window that you see here on the screen. Now you have multiple tabs at the top of the screen. We're going to break those up into different tutorials because there's quite a bit we can cover in all of those. So this tutorial is going to focus on the main section, which will also include routing. So we'll do this here on this screen, and then we'll move over to the fader unit to cover how to do that on the fader unit. So you'll notice that the things on the screen, we have the Nuendo button at the top left. If you click on that, it opens up your selected channel view. Basically anything that you would need to see on a selected channel will open up on this window. For those who are familiar with Nuendo or Cubase already, this will make sense. So I won't cover that in this tutorial, but it's there and it's easy to access, again, without using a mouse. Now, you also have on the left side, you have this drop-down arrow. If you select that, you can select what input channel you would route for that audio channel. And you just click on whichever input you want. You also have a high pass, a low pass filter, and your gain and your polarity. And those correspond with your encoders down here. So if we wanted to put a high pass filter on that channel, whatever channel is selected, you can click the on button, high pass where you need to. If you wanted to do a low pass, you can do that as well. And also if we needed to reverse the polarity, you have that ability with the yellow button here. And also you have a gain. So if your audio files were recorded at too low of a level per se, you could gain those up right there. Now the next section over, we have our outputs. And so right now I currently have the bass channel selected. You can see that at the top of the screen. And I have my output assigned. My bass channel is right now going out my stereo out. If I wanted to assign it to go out a different channel, or say I wanted it to go out a group, maybe I want to assign it to the drum kit group, for example, I can assign it right there and make sure it's turned on. Those are my direct outs. I also have the ability to send it out two places. Notice it will only select one at a time, but if I hit this button at the top there, that's called the sum button. That will allow me to send it out multiple outputs. So if I had stems and wanted to send those out multiple outputs, I could do that. Or if I had some creative routing I wanted to do, I have that ability. And then to unassign it, you just select no bus. And it's that simple. And we have 8 of those, and that corresponds with the fader unit as well. We'll move over and talk about that in a moment. And then the third section on the right side, you have your meter. For that selected channel, you can mute, you can solo, you can listen, and you can record enable, arm the track there. And also the encoder below that, we have the ability to read or write automation. And we also have a level knob, which if you have a fader unit, it's moving the fader. You can see that. Also, if you click this little tab at the top right, it will open up a meter for that selected channel, the fader. So if you didn't have a fader unit, this is one way you could control that fader without using the mouse. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. On this screen, we'll move over to the master fader and talk about how to do the same thing. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to do the same thing over here. If you hit the pre button, for example, we'll start there. You'll notice on the fader unit I can select my bass channel, and as I hit pre, it opens up the view on the window here. I can now use these encoders to turn on or off my high or low pass filters. I can make the adjustments that I need to just right there with those encoders. Very quick. And you notice I can access that parameter because I have section 1 here selected on my section control. If I select section 2, it would normally move down on the bottom row here. You would see gain and phase. In this version of Nuage, I don't see that happening yet, and I hope in future updates, firmware updates, that might be a possibility. I've found a workaround to be able to adjust my gain and my polarity by selecting the edit button and opening up more of my channel view, selected channel view. And then you can see on the screen I have, excuse me, I have those same parameters. And now my encoders will adjust those as well, and I have the ability to adjust the reverse the polarity or adjust my gain right there using that encoder. So that's one workaround I've found for that. Also, if you go to the routing page, we covered how to do that on the multi-touch screen in the master unit. If you hit routing, that pulls up my routing on each of those slots. I can adjust. Let's say I wanted to change the input for my base channel. I click on that first encoder and I can select which input I want. I want input number 9. And then I can also select my outputs here. Let's say I didn't want it to go out my stereo and I wanted it to go out my center channel, for example. I just can select it right there. Or I can select multiple outputs. And let's say I wanted this to be my stereo out as well, and I can turn it on or off using that button. Okay, that's it for this section. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or ideas, please feel free to email me, Brad@pulsesound.com. I'd love to cover anything that you would like us to. Thanks.